Welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Superman number 328. This is from the original series from DC Comics. Story by Martin Pasko, art by Curt Swan and Frank Chiaramonte, letters by Ben Oda, color by Adrienne Roy, edited by Julius Schwartz. So Superman is destroying the LDS laser defense satellite that went horribly rogue a few issues ago. While doing so, he comes in contact with some sort of alien artifact that might be from Krypton. He doesn't get a chance to read the inscription on the casing before it starts to deform in the atmosphere. But everything is not quite as it seems. When he goes to knock it off its orbit so it doesn't hit anywhere populated, it transforms into a person. And Superman doesn't have really time to deal with that as he is picking up all the space junk, and he runs into General D.W. Derwent. Now, Derwent is this really bitter guy who has been behind a lot of the shenanigans with this LDS system and why it was being kept secret from Superman. It turns out that Derwent lost part of his arm from an explosive shell that ricocheted off Superman, so he has something against him. But he has something else on top of that, which is a robot Superman. Now this alien thing, which looks like a bunch of little like worms, it's actually a sort of nanite creature, but the term nanite didn't exist in 78 when this was written, so they call it something else. And it thinks it's bonding with Superman, but it's actually bonding with the robot Superman that was recovered. And Clark has to phone his computer process to find out what's going on, and his weird old-timey computer tells him that this thing was the result of a Kryptonian experiment between Sir Z and Jor-El, and they're called the Commensals. Now, these were supposed to be like nanites that would work as artificial limbs. They could be forged into different types of metal by bonding with the metal and then reshaping it. But what it started doing was overtaking people's minds and using people and giving them these weird powers. So the Kryptonians figured out to freeze them and destroy them. Well, some of the cells hadn't been destroyed. They were still in lab containers, and Jor-El shot them into deep space where they'd be frozen. Kind of a lazy way of not destroying them for plot purposes. But this thing wants to bond with Superman, and it's looking pretty grim for the Man of Steel. We're left with a cliffhanger ending, and then it jumps over to The Private Life of Clark Kent, which is a backup story. Which is actually a fairly long backup story. This one was written by Cary Burkett, pencils by Kurt Schaffenberger, inks by Tex Blaisdell, letters by Shelly Leferman, colors by Jerry Serpe, edited by Julius Schwartz. Now Clark and Jimmy Olsen and Steve are sitting down at a table for lunch, and this guy walks up and he's like, "Clark, how would you like to meet your real dad?" And Clark's like, "What?" And it turns out this baby had been kidnapped right around the same time that Clark Kent was found. Now, for some reason we see a birthmark on Clark's arm that he didn't know about, or we never learned about, but everything is not as it seems. See, Clark is possibly the Linden baby, obviously a reference to the Lindbergh baby, and he goes out to this rich guy's house with his friends and tries to meet this reclusive multimillionaire who's allegedly his father. But then somebody tries to come in with a weapon, and that's when things get crazy. And we learn the truth about what's really going on. It was actually a pretty fun story. It's very Scooby-Doo adventure kind of thing. Definitely aimed at younger people, but I thought it was fun. Both stories were pretty good. The art was solid on both of them. I think the art was a little better on the main story than the backup, but I didn't have a problem with either story or the art. So pretty solid book all around. Both stories are a little bit far-reaching, but for the age demographic that it's aimed at, it's fine. I don't think anybody would really have a problem reading this and being at least moderately entertained with standard comic book fare. It's not the most memorable thing, but the Kryptonoid creature is pretty interesting and would definitely be something worth looking at in the future as like a one-time villain re-emerging in the new era as opposed to the Silver Age books where it apparently faded into obscurity. So I thought it was pretty fun ideas that were a little ahead of their time because it really is talking about like nanite technology before that was a really popular thing. Worth checking out, but it is a two-part story, so you're going to need to pick up the next issue as well. But I didn't have a problem with the $3 I paid for it. I thought it was fun, so I'll recommend it. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. And hopefully we will see you on the next one.